Good morning. I'm Beth. This is my box. And today is Saturday, the 15th of February. It is 5:47 in the AM. And good morning. um, Even though today's Saturday, it's actually my Friday as far as work is concerned because then I'm off for the next 3 days and I don't have to worry about a whole lot of nothing. Even though I will do stuff, I'm glad it's my weekend, as it were. Got a dentist appointment on Monday, so yay, so excited. Um, this is what my hand looks like from yesterday. Yeah, it's kind of gross. I'm letting it air out, and then I'll put a Band-Aid on it again and cover it back up. But I look like a dork because I take a one of our gloves that we use here for cleaning cars and such like that. It's just a regular latex type of glove. Well, I put it on and it's so daggone hot after a while that I cut the fingers off just so I can give some air to my fingers. Oh, I thought Rod was coming, but it wasn't. Anyway, I cut the fingers off and the thumb off, and then I'll put a little hole on top and then a hole on the bottom, and it just looks stupid. You know what I mean? And for the customers, they're like, okay, this girl's kind of weird doing a Michael Jackson thing with the one glove. But that was to try and protect my hand. Anyway, I did want to clarify a little bit on the uh, telepathy symptoms, if you will, of what I have. The thoughts that come into my head from other people's thinking is not necessarily clear. It is like as clear as mud sometimes. So, and it doesn't happen all the time. I do not focus on that. I actually focus on the opposite, that I would rather not listen to what your brain is thinking because it's easier for me to just get along to get along. Um, but there are times like if I feel comfortable with the folks that I'm around and a weird question comes up like, what's your middle name? For some reason, my brain is connected to it, and I'll just pop out their middle name from nowhere. I had no idea. It just happened. And this happens to me a lot, but I also focus on trying not to invade other people's spaces in their thought pan. You know what I mean? Because it's kind of rude to go into somebody else's brain and start doing things like that. Yeah, if I was a conniving evil bastard like the Cheater McCheaty that is sitting in the Oval Office at this point, I would take ultimate advantage of it. But that's not who I am. I believe in live and let live, unless you're fucking with other people, and then you should maybe die. Not necessarily. It depends on the situation, and I wouldn't wish death upon anybody because then it just karma bounces back to me, and I made it this far. I would have to say the most uh, portion to the whole uh, telepathy. Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. The whole thing to the telepathy, it's more of because of being an empath, somebody who is empathetic to another human being. I think that that's where it more so comes from because I can pick up on emotions quicker than I can pick up on clarity of, say, names, for instance. So, I mean, obviously, if somebody's feeling down and they're, kind of mopey looking, it's generally an obvious tale that, something's going bad for them in their little world. So have a little empathy because sometimes you have a bad day too. You know what I mean? It's more anyway. Um, so I found with this particular ability, you don't necessarily have to be in the room for me to be able to pick up on what others are laying down without actually saying it. It just kind of comes through, and it's beautiful, it's wonderful and all that stuff, but it also comes with its traps because living in that realm of thinking, for as wonderful as it is, it's also can also mess you up because you get to thinking that this thinking process that you're physically feeling and thinking is the reality that you use your feet to walk around in. And while it is also not. Okay? Because at this stage in the human game, people don't like you to know these things. It makes them very uncomfortable. But at this point, you're just going to have to get over it because evolution in all species happens. And this is not really even an evolution, it's just a rediscovery of something that we forgot we could do because we were so busy just trying to frickin' survive. I mean, if you think about all the wars that have gone on throughout time, this from, I guess, this, you could say from the 70s onward, um, things have been rather low key for humanity as a whole. You know what I mean? Yes, there have been wars. It's been horrible. Okay, now here comes Rod. Okay. Rod came by, gave me my cheese stick like he does every morning. I haven't told him that I haven't eaten the cheese sticks in the past 3 days yet because it's sweet that he does it. It really is sweet. And I think next, because he doesn't work on Wednesdays when I come back to work. I mean, I can do it today, but I think I'm going to wait until next week. I'm going to hand him a cheese stick. One of the ones he's given me. It's just a really sweet thing that he does. Um, he's just a nice guy, even though he's freaking MAGA. I can't help that he's been watching Fox News and got brainwashed for all this time, but deep down inside, he's a decent dude. You know what I mean? He tries to look out for his fellow coworkers and such as that, which is awesome. My coffee is in a mason jar this morning. This is left over from my cup I couldn't finish at home. And yes, I'm still working on the whole coffee creamer because, as you can see, even though this jar is purple or light purple, the coffee is not as creamy looking as I normally have it. Or at least with the store-bought creaminess. But I also want to make sure that I finish drinking it because that's where I put my collagen and my marshmallow root. I have to get it into the body somehow, so I need to do it through my coffee, which is why I'm not just, foregoing that little bit of coffee that's left. I want to drink it so that it's in my body because it's been doing good things. I suggest other people, especially if you've reached my age of 60-ish, the body no longer it makes, but just not very much collagen. You don't make it as much as you used to when you were young. So I do highly recommend doing that, at least as of this moment, because it hasn't even been a month in which I've been using the collagen. However, I have noticed a difference in my bowel outtake, as it were. I thought of a couple of things today. I don't want to mention it until I've actually followed through with what my thought processes are. So hopefully by tomorrow or Monday at the latest, I can at least inform you of different things that I'm doing. But in order to accomplish it, I have to do it without informing you guys, and then I can inform you after I've done it because there's no sense in just blah blah blahing about it. I just wanted to give you the heads up that I'm on that track to do a little something that I've been planning anyway, and I'm just blah blah blahing about it. But anyhow, um, nothing overly exciting. People are still going on about Elon's kid telling Dumpy Boy to shut the fuck up in the White House, in the Oval Office. He's sitting at the Resolute desk, and that little boy told the truth. You're not the president, so you need to go away. Somebody neutered that man right there. Yes, they did. Uh, but anyway, the whole uh, psychic thing of telepathy and empath, that's just a part of who I am. I do not broadcast it. I do not let people know generally. It just so happens that I'm doing this video, and for the purposes of the long run, I felt it was a semi important thing to say. You know what I mean? Um, yeah. Yesterday, our boss, on another note, because it has nothing to do with the empath and telepathy thing. On another note, one of my sweet bosses, that's the one thing about this place, there's a lot of bosses. So instead of trying to conform to each individual boss, I just conform to me. And then they can either love me or hate me after that. And because I actually do my job, show up on time, and don't disappear for hours on end, yeah, they kind of like me. And the customers like me too. Anyway, one of these wonderful bosses went around on Valentine's Day and handed out these cupcakes. You see, I already ate most of it. Yes, well, not most, but yeah, okay, most of it yesterday. See this cake? That's what it looked like. It's a big thing. It's got a big old piece of chocolate right down here. It's kind of a hard chocolate, so when I'm working with customers, it's very difficult for me to try and eat and wait for them to come up. And this was such a huge daggone muffin. I needed to take time to eat it. I couldn't eat it all at one time because no. The younger me would have done that and just enjoyed it and looked for more, but the older me is like, oh, okay, you need to take this slow. So yeah, she came around on Valentine's Day and brought us chocolate covered strawberry muffin, which is awesome. And there was cake, icing on it and little heart sprinkles. So that was cool. This job is actually one of the better jobs that are out there as far as um, near bottom level kind of jobs. You know what I mean? You have to have some sort of intelligence to do this job, but the main portion of this job that you need to have is customer service skills. And my empath ability actually works really well with this because if a customer comes up to the booth, I can get a feel as to whether I can play with the person, not in a rude way, but just in, like yesterday, one of the themes was the name Ann, Ann. Well, my middle name happens to be Ann, the ANN version. Well, there's a whole controversy in the Ann Kingdom, for as small as it is whether you should put an E at the end of Ann or just leave it blank with ANN, no E. And if there is an E at the end of Ann, is it pronounced Ann E or just Ann? Because it could go either way. And it depends on the person. Well, I had a string of customers yesterday that all had the name Ann. And they had the E at the end. So we made it, a topic of conversation. So the first Ann with the E, we started it off. I told her my middle name was Ann with no E, and she gets mad at people for calling her Ann E because there's no I. Because in her mind, in order to be Ann E, it has to have an IE, not just an E. So the next Ann that came up with the E at the end of her name, she's like, I'll go either way. I answer to most everything, which is funny because a lot of customers do answer to a lot of things other than the correct pronunciation of their name. So that's awesome. And then a couple of Anns later, I just went over the whole spiel with her, and she just thought that was funny. And that's part of my customer service repertoire is you see each individual person that comes up and you treat each individual person as an individual person and you show them respect and you treat them as you would like to be treated. That's the key to customer service. You have to treat the other person as you would like to be treated. It's a very simple concept. It works in life in general, but a lot of people have a hard time with that because we've become a very me focused kind of thing. And Dumpy in Chief is a prime example of me. It's all about him. Nothing else in this world matters except him and the perception of how other people view him. Well, he's a moron, okay? The North Korean dictator ickiness out there once called him a dotard. I think that fits. He is a dotard. He doesn't give a shit about anything. He's so insecure and such a wounded child that he's never healed from that. And because he's never healed from that, we all get to suffer. Suffer. Because those in pain like to give pain to others so they can feel like they're in less pain. Him nominating all these other morons out there, that's to help keep the focus off of him and his moronic idiocracy. So if you are distracted by all these other morons doing a whole bunch of other horrible things, then you're not really looking at him and all the horrible things he does. He's diabolical like that. Very diabolical. I can't change him. I don't want to. Would it be better off for the entire world and humanity itself if he did change and wasn't like this? Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah. But again, you can't do anything about the man because he is a freaking moron. And he just thinks that he is correct in everything he does. And it's one thing to have self confidence, like Kendrick. Kendrick's got a hell of a self confidence, which is awesome. But it's another thing to let your self confidence turn into arrogance that makes you look ignorant. And that's what he looks like. A fucking toddler. Toddler in chief. Letting a little boy call him out in his office at his job. And again, that little boy said they won the election before the election was actually done. So I'm telling you, he knew. Cheater McCheaty knew he won the election before the election was even done. Why? Because his cheating paid off for the moment. So yeah, I'm on the train of impeach the MFer now. Because he needs to go. Oh, the travesty of everything he's going to break before he even gets there. Anyway, so I guess that's good enough for now and today because I'm just kind of rambly at this point. But I thought I'd come in and say hi. Go watch The Angry Bartender. I was mistaken when I called him the Mad Bartender. He is the Angry Bartender. And then you got Big Sarge, and you've got Lurie Daniels Favors. She's awesome too. And the only way we can survive this is to come together for those of us that know how to think, rub the two brain cells together. It was all there, people. You could have seen it, but you just didn't want to because you let that hate shield get in your way and you couldn't see anything we were saying because you were so busy hating on the black man and the black woman and just the women in general. Just so you could feel better for 2 seconds. Your hate for 2 seconds led us to where we are now. So yeah, maybe you little Magadonians, feeling a little bit of the pain that we've been feeling this entire time that Dumpy's been around. Maybe it's good for you to feel a little something, something. Feel a little bit of the pain that we, the ones that have witnessed this whole travesty take place since at least 2016, you can feel some of it now. It doesn't feel good. Now you can understand why we were so adamant about disliking this guy, because we saw it before it came. You're seeing it now that it's already come. Now you gotta backtrack. Anyway, try and keep the hate out of your heart, people, even for these Magadonians, which my family is of in lesser degree than some of these other ones. But they still have a difficulty trying to see the truth in the matter. And it's not my job at this point. I have said, I have tweeted, I have called, I have flipped my shit. If you don't get it by now, then you want to continue your delusion. And it's going to crash and it's going to burn. It's going to suck. So, yeah. Anyway, for those of you who kind of think like me, at least as far as the dumpy is concerned, take care of yourselves. Because that's all we got, man, is each other. Regardless of skin color, religion, gender, any of those kind of things, regardless of all that, that's all we got to make it through this horror show. Okay? All right. Well, I love you all, people. Thank you for watching. Take care of yourselves because it's all we got. All right. Peace out.